predictable and set timings, of course. It's the package. You get it at the Dragon. Do you want to fight as top esports? Do you not? That's kind of the bilateral kind of, you know, setup you have for yourself. But they do lock in the Aphelios for iBoy. Has been something that he's been leaning a little bit more towards, you know, later on the split. Jinx still very much at the top of his game there, but very much having a moment or two to try and keep himself up and alive with that particular pick, especially with the extra little bit of utility within the guns. But top esports saying, look, Tian, putting you back on the Viego. Honestly, yeah, take the Sylas. I actually have no issues with this whatsoever.
Yeah, Tian going to get his hands on his most played from spring, his most played currently in summer, and you're going to get Knight on his favorite pick as well in this Sylas. Knight is just such a good Sylas player. It's disgusting. Now, Rare Adam going to have to see what they can try and do. Leyan at least going to try and go for this early aggression. Can go for the Lee Sin. Zhao also works incredibly well. Volibear, another great pick, but you do have to be careful about what you're giving across towards Knight on the opposite side. So it will go towards the Zhao. Azir going to be a matchup for Strive, which Knight is going to be perfectly fine with. Won't really have any sort of issues with getting poked at a lane too much. But Rare Adam would be leaning heavily in towards that late game if they go towards the Azir.
Yeah, it would definitely be a little bit of all eggs in the one basket, but they go back towards the Taliyah. And look, I'm going to say Strife was not terrible on the Taliyah. It does also not give Sylas an immediate impact ultimate. Yes, the Weaver's Wall is nice, but it's not really that, you know, big Gnar ultimate or anything like that. And right now, there isn't a huge amount of options available to top esports to say, look, this ultimate's going to change everything. But at the same time, I think for Sylas, he doesn't really care, because I think, you know, Sylas in general, regardless of the ultimates he takes, he's just powerful.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that because of the durability update, the fact you've got Grievous Wounds nerf, it just gives Sylas so much uptime in fights. He's an absolute menace. So top esports going to take that alongside the Ezreal, which will give a bit of a free time towards iBoy, but at least again leans into that mid game that top esports are trying to hit off of a 2-out of spike. My biggest concern though for them is if Rare Adam do end up going towards things like the Azir, if you end up going towards these late game scaling picks, you don't have a huge amount of control over this bot side with the Ezreal. It's more about trying to like open up Mark to link up with Knight and make plays there, but Strive should be relatively safe in that regard. You've got a good mid jungle there, so there are moments where Rare Adam may just go, cool, we're just going to continue to scale into the late game, and you don't really have a lot of wiggle room for top esports to make early plays.
Yeah, the Ezreal's an interesting one as well. We're seeing a lot more priority on it in the likes of Viper. JackeyLove has had a huge amount of presence on it as well, but no one else really picking that one up. And I do like to see that like this champion can look absolutely broken. If you watched, you know, even like the likes of Gala at MSI, if you could just continuously hit those mystic shots and just, you know, make them almost look like a targeted ability, it just creates a huge amount of pressure in that lane. And even around objectives, the poke can be very prolific the later on the game goes.
I think as well, chances are we're going to see top esports go for things like this Sejuani here for Wayward, like try to set up for this full kind of melee in your face style of composition. So having a champion like Ezreal who's just going to be able to freely move in and out of fights as he pleases with the Arcane Shift, a lot of self-peel, a lot of mobility, it's going to work really well with top esports style, because I think again we're missing a lot of the engage tools here for top esports. So I imagine Wayward will fall back towards something like the Sejuani, make these team fights a little bit more difficult for these short range compositions with the Aphelios. But Rare Adam actually going to ban away the Sejuani, so now we have to see what the plan is here for the top esports top laner. I think support will be the next big pick though.
Yeah, you go for support here, I imagine. Lead the top side, counter pick for Wayward, see what Rare Adam want to go for. Of course, Rare Adam still can go for the Jax for Cube. It has been one of his most played champions so far alongside the Gwen, but I feel like people like Wayward will have an answer to you. Yes, you can blind it into other teams, and maybe it'll work out for you, but I think into specifically top esports, they are going to have a lot more for it. But top esports do lock in the Leona. It is going to be pretty much, I think it's the second highest, or maybe the third highest for Mark this split, and it really does kind of, the 5 times, so it's actually joint top at the side for Mark alongside Braum.
Yeah, and Mark is simultaneously the best and worst Leona at all points in time. He is Schrodinger's Leona, because whenever I see this man, he can land some fantastic engages with the Leona, and other times he just completely whiffs the Zenith Blade. So we have to see what side of the equation Mark ends up falling on here, but into the Nautilus, he will be on a little bit of a back foot in just the way this matchup synchronizes in the bottom half, so he will more than likely be looking for the roams to link up at Knight that we talked about. Wayward eyeing up the Gwen here to go up against the blind Vladimir that we get for Cube. So definitely an interesting one for Cube, and it's kind of a pick that we've only really seen coming through from 369 more so than anyone else.
Yeah, well, 369, but Flandre's been playing it for EDG as well, yeah, so this is, we have seen Cube play it so far this split, didn't win on it, had a 7.0 KD8, didn't do badly, but, you know, statistic-based analysis isn't exactly the greatest there, but we will see the Gwen locked and loaded, Wayward's most picked champion of the split, and again, the Gwen should do just fine. It's something like the Vlad. I think the top lane, again, becomes a little bit of a no-man's show of no one really going to have kill pressure on the other until we see jungle intervention.
Yeah, it becomes a little bit of a mismatch because Cube essentially ends up pushing the wave as the range champion. So you end up trying to chip away at the turret. You think you're going to be relatively safe, but oftentimes Gwen takes the ghost in this matchup, so she has the opportunity to chase you down. So we sometimes see Vladimir's opting in towards a flash ghost combo to try and counteract that, because Gwen is very good with the ghost of chasing you down, attacking you outside the pool, making sure you're not actually able to get that escape. So I think it becomes a little bit interesting to see how these two matchups end up going. And suddenly, if you're not running this Vladimir with the TP, well, then Gwen can kind of start getting resets and start to outpace you through that TP advantage. So it becomes a very interesting matchup to watch, but one that I kind of lean in towards Wayward a little bit when it comes towards kill pressure post 6.
And why, I'm kind of curious just to know your opinion on this as well. We are seeing the Vladimir slowly creep back up into the meta, similar to things like the Tryndamere. Why are we seeing it come back into it? Is it just because it's a safe lineup that gives you good team fight? What's the benefit of it coming into this game?
I think it's great late game scaling, great team fighting, which is where we're seeing a lot of the meta shift towards, especially because you look at how powerful objectives are at the moment. Vladimir can do incredibly well, great backline, dive threat, and a lot of people kind of underestimate how good Vladimir can be at separating team fights, the zone control he can offer. Because if he's ramping up with his E, he's pulled in front of your backline, they are running away. They're not going to be available in the fight. So Cube can very easily start to break up these fights by using the pool, and also then having things like the Zhonya's Hourglass if you want to, although we've kind of seen a lot of Vladimir's E teeter away from that. That can also just buy a lot of time in fights where you're separating front from back and allowing your own team to deal with the aggressive front line.
The Gwen, okay, I was about to say the Gwen was tiny there for a second, hoping that a graphical glitch did not stick, because that would have been very jarring to see a literal doll holding a giant scissors.
It makes it slightly more terrifying.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's like I was watching. You know when you go down rabbit holes on like Twitter or Reddit and like that. I went down one of those, and Reddit was like, "What's okay to hear at 3 p.m. but not 3 a.m." And then someone was like, "The ice cream van music," and I'm just like, "Isn't that terrifying?" Like if you hear that 3 p.m., whatever, no one cares. 3 a.m., you're like, "What is going on?" Like, but. Come back into reality. Let's talk about how these junglers are going to be starting off. They're going to be both on the bot side, pathing up towards the top. Very difficult to really see the Viego or the Zhao make a kind of gank up against the Vladimir or the Gwen, both having some decent ways of getting themselves safe and out there. So where do you want to see them focus, if it even is the top lane itself?
I think that's the hardest part here for top esports, is like you don't really have the opportunity to push any advantages in lane. JackeyLove going to be trying to keep pace with iBoy, but iBoy should have the shove there. Knight going to be pushed in. Cube, at least in the early stages, should be able to get on towards Wayward. So overall, you should be in a pretty okay spot. Here's where Adam to play out your lane state's totally fine. The end maybe even looking for a few engages as actually JackeyLove gets hooked and ignited.
Yeah, it needs to be so careful in those situations, because with the Calibrum, you're going to have that extra little bit of range onto the Ezreal. I will say, though, you should be able to trade it back very nicely and keep yourself safe. But level 1, the Leona just doesn't have it in her kit to fight back.
And that's the thing, and that's why Yuyanjia is able to go that little bit more aggressive in these early stages. Now, does mean though JackeyLove should be fine, has that TP to get back to lane, so will be able to kind of absorb some of that pressure and get those early resets, even starting with the tier as well. Just kind of going, hey, look, I don't really care about trying to fight at this early point. I just want to scale as quickly as humanly possible. So at the moment, top esports kind of taking that laid-back route that we were talking about, and we're going to be keeping our eyes on Leyan to see what he can try and achieve.
See what they're able to kind of go for. We will see them both towards the top side, kind of on a similar path, also on a similar clear speed. I will say maybe they will have a little bit of a skirmish around that Scuttlebug, but with the Zhao having priority in mid, and the Vladimir not really being pushed in as hard as we can see him engaged down the bot side. The trade back there onto Mark is good as JackeyLove looks to try and make this one work for his team, but you can see just how powerful this Nautilus Aphelios combination is. The Leona goes in, it gets interrupted by the Nautilus, and then you're just able to cycle through those guns so much quicker than you can the Ezreal.
Yeah, I have no idea where you're trying to trade effectively on that bottom side, but Tian trying to see if he can go for this. Knight moved across, level advantage for Knight and Tian, and they will be able to push him away as Leyan will spot it out, so Leyan now going to start moving down towards his bottom side, but should still be fine to try and get this scuttle and keep himself equal.
Yeah, again, look, you see Mark resetting, so nothing he really can do. Tian recognizes he doesn't have it there, and that's the difference between having the Krugs taken by the Viego and the Krugs not taken. I was going to say Strive does dodge out one of the CCs, gets knocked back to Tian, but might have to use his own flash here. He's taken very low. He doesn't. He keeps it, and that's going to cause first blood atop Esports. He just find themselves a good opportunity.
Yeah, Strive, unfortunately, just not willing to commit the flash to get out, so massive error coming through from the Rare Adam mid laner, not getting that early lead where he really shouldn't have, and Leyan as well going to be a little bit later on the reset coming through because he hadn't cleared out his bot side camps, and Zinzao just not able to keep up with the clearing power of this Viego. So already taking a step back in this game is Rare Adam. This is just nice from Tian, manages to get the knockback. Strive thinks he's okay with the reset, but not expecting the passive auto attack and the Q to come through there to finish him off, and just doesn't expect as much damage to hit him at the one time.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an unfortunate one there, and this is kind of top Esports, that mid-jungle kind of synergy, as we see Wayward now going on aggressive onto Cube. Wayward needs to be a bit careful, though. You have mana, and Cube on the Vladimir does not. He just has to expend some of his cooldowns and his health bars as well, so you can see him just sustaining with the Q, and once he gets up to that level 9, he gets full points into the Q, he's able just to kind of go for very aggressive trades and really start to punish this Gwen in this top side.
Yeah, it becomes really difficult to try and deal with this, especially because we kind of talked about how Cube would have to take the Ghost in this matchup, so then he could try and get away from Wayward, but Wayward actually opting in towards the Ignite, so looking more for these kind of all-in setups with Tian, where you can try and burst down the Vladimir, get some of the Grievous Wounds from the Ignite to make it a bit easier to take him down. So it feels like, at least for top Esports, they're kind of looking towards Tian in the early stages to try and ease the burden of these solo lanes, and so far Tian's been doing a great job of that, at least in the mid lane.
Yeah, Wayward does get himself back up with the TP. No TP on Cube, like you mentioned, does have a Ghost. I will say, with a Ghost and a Phase Rush, that is a very fast Vladimir. He will be able to go in and out of fights very, very quickly, and with the Sanguine Pool, have a lot of safety with it as well, so we'll see what RA are able to make work with it. They will have level 6s being hit very, very shortly as Leyan gets spotted out here by Wayward, but will get his ward taken as a response.
Yeah, and the problem for Leyan is that he needs to be the one to try and interrupt what top Esports are trying to do, especially what Tian is trying to do, and maybe now moving across to actually catch Tian here, as he feels like there's going to be another play towards the mid lanes.
Yeah, they are starting to wait around. Both junglers here, neither level 6, but level 6 is going to be hit here by Knight as Leyan going to try and make himself known towards Tian. They're going to steal it with a Crescent Guard and try and trade this one back. Leyan does end up getting the flash out of Stripe, but it's not enough this time round, and this bullying in the mid lane is just working out so well for top Esports.
Level 6 is just more of an advantage for Knight. He's able to steal away Leyan's ultimate, whereas Stripe doesn't really get any more powerful at level 6 in comparison. So Knight gets the kill, another one going the way of Tian, and suddenly what we expected to be Rare Adam controlling and dictating the pace of this early game is just not coming to fruition.
No, it really isn't, and you can see just how difficult it is for them to be able to kind of say it. Viego is coming in. Tian does not have Heartbreaker here, but will not land the CC. You can see that Cube thought that something was happening, and he puts a ward down just before. But Cube, you have got the Sanguine Pool, but you're going to have to use the Ghost now and the Flash. Both summoners used. Wayward didn't even use his Ignite.
Look, object permanence doesn't exist. Alright? In theoretical physics, if you lose track of where the Electron is, you have no idea where it's gone. It can go anywhere at that stage. It's only when you observe it that it actually gets into a fixed spot, and if the jungler is there, well then it's only there when you observe him. But unfortunately that's not the case in League of Legends. And top Esports have managed to punish that 3 times thus far.
I was going to say that it's actually interesting that you went with the very kind of like, you know, scientific, you know, setup. In my head, it was just like horses, blinders, or blinkers on them. It's like, because a horse, that's the whole thing. The reason why you put blinkers on a horse in a horse racing thing is that they will get spooked by the other horses getting closer to them. So you just put blinkers, and they go like, ah, and then they look straight, and they're like, oh, he's gone. That's literally how horses work. Their brains cannot fathom it, so end up putting them there forward. Yours was a little bit more elegantly put.
Yeah, see, so my cousin has recently got a degree in theoretical physics, so I'll like randomly just have chats with him, and I'm like, damn, you are just like way more intelligent than me when it comes to this, aren't you?
I love when you have someone like that in your family, because then they say something to you and you're just like, oh, I'm not intelligent enough to have this conversation with you. I talk about video games.
Yeah, I will say he has gone from getting his degree in theoretical physics to working in Nut Merchant in Vancouver. So it has been a bit of a change. He's still trying to see how he can get involved.
If it's theoretically possible, you know, he should do it. That's the way way it kind
So
of
shout out to Cole. I hope he's doing well over in
Congrats
Canada.
to you.
We miss you. But back into this game. Top Esports already with a very good lead now, trying to see if they can abuse that, moving up towards this Rift Herald, but Rare Adam are in position.
Yeah, Tian going to have to heartbreaker over the wall, you would imagine. Keep themselves safe away from the side of RA, who are trying to be putting in, but you do not have Cube here, and Cube has no TP, so this will be a 5v4 in favor of Top Esports as finally JackeyLove joins his team. There's the Moonlight Vigil, got to completely whiff. Why would you throw that out there when you know the W is available for Gwen, as she becomes immune? Now the Rift Herald being taken down to about 1,000 HP. They're going to try and fully engage on top of this one here as Mark flashes away after going in straight away. There's going to be the Crescent Guard as they try and just create a zone around Knight. Knight's still going strong though, as you can see finally the Hemo Clay comes in as eventually the Vladimir has made his presence known, but despite the low health bars from the side of Top Esports, they're still looking good, and they still take 2 kills. The Rift Herald did go down, and it was picked up by Mark.
Early skirmishes just belong to Top Esports. 0 to 5, a 3,000 gold lead. Top Esports are out the gate swinging as per usual.
And what can you do here for RA? You've got yourself such good early skirmishing, but even the early skirmishing is going against you, because you can see this Top Esports just weaving and bobbing and waving in so lovely.
But Vladimir isn't here. So already you're starting this fight out as a 4 versus 5. So Top Esports gets so much damage coming through here, and everyone tries to commit on tonight towards the top half of the map, which means you're overextended here. As iBoy, he's basically nothing in this fight. Same as Strive, he's got to put himself in an awkward position to try and follow up, because everyone has to try and move through that choke point. Whereas Top Esports set up with a great concave there, able to kind of move and adjust as that fight goes on. So unfortunately for Rare Adam, just no numbers, no real good setup for that fight either, and Top Esports take the advantage.
Yeah, you can see the Vladimir. It does decent damage, but it's just not relevant right now, as we have Mark roaming up towards this mid lane, as is Tian. Oh, Strive. Oh, Strive.
We salute you, sir.
We salute you. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling.
0-3.
Yeah.
Same thought process,
Yeah.
just not go well for Strive in this one. I mean, 3-0-2 for Tian, looking super hot. 2-0-4, and there's the Rift Herald that we had for Mark. I was about to say, he probably needed to move mid to make that play happen with the Rift Herald, but he was way ahead of us. Already Top Esports are looking for more.
They are looking for more. They're looking to try and make this one work, but the Crescent Guard comes in. There's the Solar Flare going to come out, but it's not really going to do much, and that's a little bit of a rare mistake there from the side of Top Esports. They thought they could force the issue, but Leyan still on his Zinzel, still very powerful at the early stages. But we're going to go for another real fight coming out here as both Collection Lockmans come out. They eventually get on top of him. That's 2 kills now over to Leyan. It's Leyan or bust in this game right now, as finally Strife gets gifted over a kill. They were so desperate to get him back into the game, and 3 kills now off the trot.
Oh, daddy boy. But that is such a big mistake from Top Esports. The whiff on the stun coming through from Tian sets it up beautifully. And Yuyanjia, you thinking about more?
It's going to be hard, though. You haven't got the from the depths, so you're not going to, or sorry, the depth charms from the depth coming out from Pyke, but you do not have the ultimate on the Nautilus. Let's have a look at the replay here, because it starts off with them thinking they can go for this, but Knight's already very low.
So this is the idea, right? Tian is supposed to start this off, so he tanks, walks out, Knight gets to deal the damage, and then the Solar Flare will come in, so you're able to kind of very quickly ramp that one up. But with Tian missing on the Maw, this all starts to fall apart. And even with the Heartbreaker here, Leyan, great job to connect with the Wind Becomes Lightning, and from that position then, Rare Adam able to follow up with Strive coming through. So 3 very quick kills coming through from Rare Adam, with a nice run for Yuyanjia, and Strive being able to come in with the Weaver's Wall.
And much needed gold as well coming out for Leyan, because he gets himself a score drinker. You are still looking at a bit of a kind of a halfway house here for the side of Rare Adam's Strife, as we see the Everfrost being picked up and finished off here for Knight. So he's already got himself some pretty decent tank stats, but you got Tian roaming up here from the top side. You got to be careful as Wayward here. He does have to use the needlework. Oh, Cube, he's confident, and this is the point I'm talking about. Level 9, you get that ult or full stacks on your Q, and you're just too hard to deal with. But now Cube, he's kind of caught between no man's land, and he's going to try and run away. He's looking to try and execute before Tian can get over to him. Should be able to do it, I think, maybe, unless Tian
should
can
still
go
go Wayward.
There he goes. Yeah, he actually keeps himself alive
No.
for just a half a second, and that's going to mean the execute, so nobody gets the goal.
Yeah, nicely done by Cube. Gets the kill. Rare Adam get the Dragon because they spot Tian on that top side. So really nicely done by the Rare Adam side. They're very quickly starting to ramp back up into this game on what was looking like done and dusted. Suddenly, you know, still a 3k gold lead, but not an unmanageable situation to be in, especially with 2 dragons in their back pocket. Great late game scaling coming through with the Aphelios and the Vladimir. Top Esports need to right the ship a little bit here.
Yeah, they need to kind of just center themselves, bring themselves back to reality and kind of say, look, we're not out of the woods just yet. We're not set up for victory as of the moment. The Ezreal will have that little bit of a power spike, though, once he finishes off that Muramana, but it's going to be relatively equal to what iBoy and Strife are able to bring to themselves.
And it's the same at night as well, right? Like, you're actually in a position where at least Top Esports will spike that bit sooner, so looking towards things like this Rift Herald that's going to be coming up in 2 minutes seems to be the best way for Top Esports to try and solidify the advantages that they have. So already you can see that Tian's moving down, trying to get some gold in towards JackeyLove so he can finish that second item. Then look for him to rotate mid, lean in towards that Rift Herald, and get themselves in a good spot. Rare Adam not really in a position to try and contest as well.
Yeah, we'll see Yuyanjia, though, very confident walking over onto this. He is a Nautilus, of course, so would have been very difficult to try and burst him out, as we can now see the Strife force to flash away the Solar Flare. And this is just Mark playing a very smart game of just basically buddying up with Tian and saying, look, if we're together, if with my CC and your damage, we can do anything.
And I mean, they're definitely putting the pressure on towards Rare Adam. Again, Top Esports just leaning down towards this bottom side, having numbers if Rare Adam tried to make any sort of play. But we already talked about it, right? Look at the Rift Herald. Spawning in less than a minute's time. You get the resets coming through from Top Esports. They're going to put JackeyLove and Mark in the mid lane, push mid, rotate to the side, and you end up having a ton of opportunity now to either look for Rift Herald off rip, or just look for the mid turn instead, and then lean bot side, so then you get another tower. So you end up still trading up effectively in towers and forcing this catch-22 on Rare Adam.
Still 3,000 gold lead in favor of Top Esports. They're very much kind of having themselves in a good position gold-wise. Level 11 for Knight is pretty significant as well. But those 2 dragons, we have another Cloud Soul, second one of the series. We saw it in Game 1 as well. So we'll see at the side of Rare Adam want to go for it. Honestly, it is a little bit of a win condition. You think of a Cloud Soul with something like a Vladimir, a Zhao, even a Nautilus. That's a lot of power to be able to come into your team fight should you be able to go for it. And Leyan starting up this Rift Herald and saying, look, we know we're more powerful. We're just going to trade down the bot turret for this objective.
But this is what we're talking about, right? Rare Adam's catch-22. They go for Rift Herald. Well, they lose bot turret tonight. You have push in mid lane here for Top Esports as well. They may not actually be able to get the mid lane turret, though, as they look like they're a little bit slow in the push. But that was the idea from Top Esports. They trade 2 towers for a potential single one on Rare Adam's side.
You got 2 items down the Ezreal as well. He's a full item ahead of his counterpart in iBoy. iBoy only getting himself the Gale Force as of the moment, but a Essence Reaver and Muramana now setting themselves up here for JackeyLove for success. That poke, those Mystic Shots going to be doing significant damage. And we kind of wait to see now where the next real fight's going to be. Probably in 2 minutes' time around that dragon, because if you can get up the soul point here as Rare Adam, you've got a win condition, but you are significantly further behind than you probably wanted to be in this game.
Especially when we talked about them having pretty much full control of the map. Again, Leyan just hasn't really been able to get into... Well, that's unfair. He has actually had some good ganks in towards the mid lane and been able to turn around some of these play from Top Esports. And now it's just a case of, for Rare Adam, trying to see if they can continue mobilizing towards that late game. You've got Cube already with 1 item completed. It's going to be working up towards the second as well. For Aphelios, only getting that single item. He still wants 2 more before he's really going to be relevant in this game. So you've got a lot of time that you've got to try and buy here for Rare Adam, and at least having this Rift Herald denies a little bit of a potential push here from Top Esports to keep using the advantages they have. Even the fact Rare Adam have 2 dragons, they can just ignore these next few dragons and just let Top Esports have them as you wait for that late game to come through.
Yeah, you really want to try and just get yourself onto some kind of equal footing here, as JackeyLove has just kept himself in this mid lane, has lost literally 0 mana despite him being here for the last 3 or 4 minutes. And now we're going to see Dragon spawning in 45 seconds. It looks like Rare Adam want to try and fight this one, though, and it's going to be difficult for them to really make this one stick. They are clearing out the vision. They've already brought Cube down, so they're giving up top tier 1 in favor of pressure now around this turret, or excuse me, around this mid lane and Dragon Pit. So with both teams now posturing around it, the Weaver's Wall is going to be good here, and Mark's kind of caught by himself. He flashes away and uses the Blast Cone. They're going to steal away the Nautilus ultimate there. Sylas, they got to push it mid.
I actually think this is a bit of a mistake from Rare Adam, though. delay is the name of the game. You're not trying to outpace top esports on the map, and the fact that you're letting this last outer turret goes down gives top esports more of the map to work with now. Now they can push in bot, they can push in top, rotate mid, look for that cheap tower in the mid lane as well that's already on super low health. And top esports, as you can see, like they're just forcing Rare Adam back, and now Wayward is putting aggression onto the tier 2.
Yeah, Wayward's kind of saying, look, it's a Cloud Soul. We don't really need this. And they're going to TP on the flank as well. You got Knight with the Nautilus ultimate. You can see Rare Adam, they know that something's up. They know they can't fully commit to this dragon despite it being so low, and that's going to be a full leash, you would imagine, going over to the side of top esports. Rare Adam, they're on a flank. Strife, though, in a lot of trouble. They're going to try and jump back onto Knight, but there's a great solar flare to catch out the two members of Rare Adam. They lose the dragon, they lose the fight, and Dagda, you're a prophet because everything you said just happened.
And that was the problem. They didn't need to try and take this fight. If you end up in a situation here as Rare Adam where, okay, we leave Cube on top side, he keeps fighting against Wayward. The second top esports commit for the dragon, you Rift Herald mid lane, you get mid lane off the charge, you reset back out towards this top side, you're going to be a fantastic spot. Now though, because they try and fight, they lose the top tower, they lose bot tier 2, they've lost the dragon, they've lost their mid lane, and suddenly what was, them trying to over-aggress and get too big of a trade has come back to bite them.
3 towers overall in that trade as well. Mid-top tier 1.
The gold difference.
Yeah, the gold's gone up to about 7,500. Let's have a look at the replay here, because Knight, he actually just skirts around Vision and kind of says, look, they haven't seen me yet, so I'm just going to put myself in a perfect position to flank them.
Yeah, so top esports had the advantage of being on the objective first. Knight's in a fantastic spot. You just hit your 2 items, which is great for top esports, and instantly he's able to get on Strive. And also, I love how he uses his passive here. So flashes forward just for the auto attack, so that he can actually get the kill. Still means he's got the Kingslayer when he moves on towards his next target. So constantly getting a ton of damage and really just getting full efficiency out of his kit in that play.
7,500 gold, and top esports is starting to really ramp things up. Yes, we know that Cloud Soul isn't exactly the most ideal of or sought after of dragons, but 4 of them, hell of a drug to be giving yourself in these later stages. We can see now Knight steals away the Hemo Plague as Cube cannot take this fight right now, as Mark and Tian making themselves known in this top side. And this is again just top esports just owning the map, bulldozing through RA, and there's nothing RA can do about it.
Especially as the top esports now start to get control even further in the jungle of Rare Adam on this top side. Leyan may feel the brunt of that here.
Well, Mark's going to walk forward and immediately go into stasis there. It's going to be a true shot barrage, bring a fair bit of damage over onto Strife and Leyan. You can see that even though a choke is a fantastic spot for a Taliyah to be fighting, even a Vladimir to be fighting as well, Rare Adam have to be so wary of where and when they take fights, because if they just go in willy-nilly, Leyan could be in a lot of trouble. They're going to see the solar flare landing on top of him, and Tian takes up a kill. Honestly, they could turn for Baron right now if they're feeling confident.
Yeah, Wayward's still on bot side, no TP though, so you'd have to actually start walking up here if they want to try and get that objective.
Go for it.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to start. Strive does have TP, even though he's just reset, so now Rare Adam will spot that the objective has been started.
Yeah, but you don't really have that much great gold as Yuyanjia gets hit by a Mystic Shot or 2, and then the TP is going to be coming in. That's Taliyah joining in the fray. Look at Gwen, very much far and away from this one. It's put a 4v4. You don't have Leyan. The Baron down to about 1,000. One more auto attack and a smite will do it as Cube tries to make something happen here. JackeyLove gets himself over the wall with the flash. The Hemo Plague does well, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Knight is 1v4ing right now. Eventually will fall, but has he done the damage? Because here comes Wayward. He jumps on the Strife and forces out his flash as they're still pushing forward with this one. There's a kill for JackeyLove on top of iBoy as they're going to trade back one more kill. And look at Wayward, he's throwing in skill shots left, right, and center as they take down absolutely everybody. One more Q should do it, but he's not quite able to get it done. And now you've actually lost 4 on the side of top esports. Yes, you get the Baron, but you've lost everyone to use it.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be the snip from Wayward to win that fight, but it actually turned out to be the Baron flip for top esports. They end up giving so much across to Rare Adam. Yes, they do get the Baron, but the fight afterwards goes in favor of Rare Adam. Only Wayward will get out with the Baron buff, and you can see here Knight actually buys a ton of time. Hemo Plague heals him up. He's got the Kingslayer to keep him healthy. The Zhonya's Glass, but JackeyLove already low off the back of this. He has to try and get himself into a position where he can actually try and fight this. Cube is consistently getting to heal up as he rocks back and forth into the fights. And here, Wayward does a great job with the scissors, or the needlework even, to get that kill, but can't really get onto Strive. Strive, with his dying breath, knocks Wayward back out of the fight, which buys all this time for Cube to deal with 2 more members of top esports. So hero play from Strive as he fell there.
Hero play from Strive, and also just Cube not getting hit by that last Mystic shot from JackeyLove keeps him alive, makes sure that they get a favorable trade. So a 3 for 2, well, technically a 4 for 4 in the end of it all, as we kind of come back into it. So yes, you got the Baron as top esports. Yes, you are still 8,000 gold ahead, but it does delay that goal, you know, that kind of spike a little bit more. As we can see, iBoy already half HP. He cannot step to this 3-item Ezreal anymore. As Strive saying, look, 2v2, I can take this one here. As Knight has already joined in. They do have the needlework slowing people down, but it's going to be very difficult for them to really catch anybody out. Cube is going to be in a little bit of trouble. As I say that, though, we are going to see another fight coming in. It's a 4v3 on the backside of this one here. Solarfire is going to be good as JackeyLove's putting out some decent, consistent damage. He flashes on top of him as Mark picks up the first kill of this fight. Now Cube trying to jump on top of the Ezreal and the Leona, but I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to keep himself alive. And say he's doing some pretty decent damage on the other side of this one, though. He eventually goes down. Now you can see they're going to try and take him all out. As Top Esports said, you got one fight. One fight is all you will get, and they will completely wipe the floor with the side of RA.
Yuyanjia, you can even see there, standing there going, oh, I'm alive, before he decides to walk out of that one. But he only gets to watch his base burn as Top Esports will now start to take the remaining outer towers. Top, mid, and bot will all fall after the fight. The 10,000 gold lead has exploded for Top Esports, and with this, it just doesn't feel like Rare Adam are going to be able to fight back. They're just too far behind.
No, they really are. You can even see when they try to fight, Cube gets himself onto the primary carry of JackeyLove and kind of says, look, I've got this. I can take him out with 2 items and a Shadow Flame. It's huge, but it's not enough. You're looking at a 3.5 item JackeyLove with a Hex Drinker, and yeah, they try to go for this one. It looks like a favorable trade because of the numbers advantage, but they're just not able to do it. Yeah,
but the problem here is, like, Yuyanjia, as you can see, goes in onto JackeyLove with the depth charge, but no one's actually able to get onto JackeyLove in that scenario. And from this point forward, Tian does a great job of being able to buy space to again separate the fight. Cube just doesn't have the damage thanks to that Hex Drinker, as you pointed out, on JackeyLove, and the rest of the fight is already going the way of Top Esports because Knight has caught him.
Oh, it's tough. It's a tough game for RA. And again, look, it's not to be unexpected.
Bye-bye, iBoy.
Yeah, iBoy doesn't have flash, does have cleanse, but it's not going to do you any good. So he's going to die there. Mark picking up his kill. Mark picking up a lot of kills, actually. I'm curious to see what his scoreline is once we come off of this graphic on the bottom of your screen. So we'll see what he's able to go. 2, 2, and 12. So actually not as many kills as I thought. Just the last fight in that one.
I mean, look, 2 kills for a support. We take them.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
desperate times. They require desperate
He's actually got the same kills and more assists than Wayward does. As we can see, Wayward going ham in this top side, trying to see if he can take out the what was it, Taliyah, and ends up getting rid of the stopwatch at least. And we come back to live in Yuyanjia's then.
It's just that top board here for Rare Adam. Top Esports going to make this a 2-0 as everything starts to fall apart for Rare Adam. How do you try and mend a defense against the behemoth that is Top Esports?
I mean, Top Esports, again, like we said, it's starting to feel a lot like Summer 2020, and this team is really starting to come into its own. They are catapulting themselves towards playoffs. The Nexus is all that stands between them and securing their place in the postseason. It will take a little longer because they haven't actually taken out the inhibitors just yet. And it looks like they're going to go for a reset and probably take Baron and then go for the end.
I mean, why not, right? You've literally got 1 inhibitor turret still remaining. You have the ability to just push in on towards this Nexus without real any issue. And if Rare Adam ever try and defend, you just feel like Top Esports can destroy that fight regardless.
Tian's got himself a Mikhail's Blessing. He's got himself that, just in case. Just in case. You know what? I was all for the topic of kind of like, you know, Chempunk Chainsword. Get that as your second item and such. Build that towards your kind of, you know, your team. It's a great stat stick. Gives you grievous wounds as well. You can see the both junglers went for it. Love that. Great job. Good job to everybody who ended up picking that one up there. And then the Mikhail's Blessing is it's an interesting one, but it's just more safety for the rest of your team. He's a team player, Dagda.
I mean, he is a bit of a beast in this, and we'll have to see if he can use it here.
Here we go. We're going to see the Solar Flare coming out. They're going to try and jump onto Tian, the man with the Mikhail's Bless. He does end up getting out with his life, so now the real utility can come in. Knight is TP'd on the backside of this one. As you can see now, Strive trying to deal with him and Cube, and it's a bit of a fight on 2 different fronts as iBoy gets jumped onto. Strive gets taken down, as does Leyan. You can see iBoy trying to do his very best. Eventually, Tian will fall. We salute you, Mikhail's Blessing, as you go up to the Angels, but Cube is now on the wrong side of the rift. He's going to have the Sanguine Pool available to him, and should Knight try to go for the full engage, but yeah, it's just going to delay the inevitable.
Yeah, Knight trying to convince Cube that he should read his good book and be a part of it, as he will manage to get 1 more assist for his name. Wayward will take that one, And as we start to move towards the base, Top Esports take the 2-0 against Rare.
They'll take the 2-0, and not only that, Dagda, they will secure their spot into playoffs. 10 wins and 1 loss means the Top Esports will be seeing you in the best of 5s, regardless of what happens in the rest of the split.
Welcome to playoffs, Top Esports. Rare Adam will try their best to hold on, but it will just not be enough. The Mikhail's blessing Viego just too strong.
It's too much. It's too much.
I was
100% win rate with that build.
Yeah, I had to like double check it there to make sure, because I was like, it is just heal and shield power, not on others. So yeah, he was just getting 20% more healing from that. So when you already have the Divine Sunder and you're passive, you're kind of getting a lot of healing through that.
That's true, actually. Yeah. So I don't know
Still,
if it's going to stick.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm just gonna say for your solo queue and stuff, don't build that. That one very much was a happy moment for Tian. I think honestly he was just sick of dying. You know, game 1 he died a lot and the team won. He's like, no, I'm not gonna die this time around. I don't think he actually. I think he died once actually. Yeah, I think he died once. But yeah, great game all around from Top Esports. Can't really fault them from that one. And for Rare Adam, sadly for them, it's getting dire. I think dire is the only real way I can put it. 2-8 now in the season. 6 series left in the year. To be perfectly honest, not even just a split. It's basically got to come down to 6 and 10. I don't know if it's going to be enough. 8 and 8 is probably the minimum you need. So you need to go on a mad win streak now. Yeah,
and it just doesn't really seem that likely. Rare Adam just can't really get themselves together in a lot of situations. We're looking at them kind of going, hey, the early game that you had control of, you weren't able to try and work through. Leyan hasn't been particularly active for this squad for a while, and even both in game 1 and game 2, when they had some advantages through their solo laners, we just never saw them work together. And I got to give a shout out to Tian for this game. Tian was magnificent in the early stages of this game, continuously getting those ganks off into mid, making sure Knight was in a really good spot. Now, we did see 1 or 2 oopsies where he went a bit over aggressive, but overall, having that control from the early stage made this game what it was for Top Esports.
Yeah, I just realized as well why he built Mikhail's Blessing. I've got it. Because whenever Tian does well, it's Christianity. You know what I mean? It's like that.
Oh,
so then you get Mikhail's Blessing for the followers of Christianity. There you go. It's all a big brain. It's all there. You just got to look. The pictures are all there. You just got to put them together.
I don't want to put them together. I really don't. That was...
I like where my brain goes and your brain's just like, no, that's dumb. You're dumb.
No, it was very clever, but it was just like, oh god.
As I say, it's like one of those Illuminati things. You're just like, wait, the numbers, Mason. What do the numbers mean? But yeah, for Top Esports, this is a great win. We've already obviously hit on the rest of their schedule, but like they're sitting on 10 and 1. They've really only got 2 tests really left. It's Anyone's Legend and V5. That's in week 10, so that's actually 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, Anyone's Legend in that mix and such that. But next few matches, Ultra Prime, very much a team they should be beating. TT again on the rise, but Top Esports just looking dominable. LGD, it's again, you could end up with this team end up kind of coming into it. They're 10 and 1 now. You add 3 more wins. They're 13 and 1 coming into the final 2 series.
And I love that we're seeing the progression of Top Esports come through from spring, right? Where JackeyLove having a lot less of those happy games, or Top Esports in general having a lot less of those happy games. You see him here, like, you never really got to see JackeyLove pop off in the early stages, but nearly 40% of his team's